Buckingham Palace has confirmed King Charles will return to public-facing duties soon after a period of treatment and recuperation following his recent cancer diagnosis. This new picture of King Charles and Queen Camilla, taken on their 19th wedding anniversary earlier this month on the 10th of April, has just been released to mark the announcement. The palace has also announced Charles and Camilla will make a joint visit to a cancer treatment centre next Tuesday, which will be the first in a number of external engagements His Majesty will attend in the weeks ahead. It was also confirmed the royals will host the Emperor and Empress of Japan for a state visit in June. His Majesty's medical team say they are very encouraged by the progress in his cancer treatment so far and remain positive about the King's continued recovery. This is a really significant statement that's come out of Buckingham Palace today. The message is obviously that not only is the King keeping calm and carrying on, but he's actually increasing his visits. He's committing to this state visit with the Japanese in June, and we're going to see him out and about next week.
Yeah, and I think this is in a real contrast to the last time we had a royal announcement on a Friday night, which was very, very different. It was the Princess of Wales talking about her cancer diagnosis, which was hugely unexpected. After that 3 weeks or 4 weeks, or I don't know how many weeks of really tumultuous talking about, where was she and all those rumours. And I think it's really, really nice as someone who works on this beat to have some positive news,
yes,
as you know, Daisy.
Absolutely.
It's been a while. I mean, I think, one, it's very significant and really encouraging that they're going to see cancer specialists on Tuesday. It's a gorgeous picture of Charles and Camilla. They look
I was
very
just
happy.
about to
It's
say
really
that.
cute.
She is, I can't, that royal blue really suits her. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I am very shallow.
No,
I just looked at that photograph and said, that is the perfect photograph.
Yeah.
Lovely in that royal blue. He looks really cool in that grey. Excellent.
Yeah, great picture. And sorry to cut you, just also state visit could be ramping up to more visits across the Commonwealth, where he is potentially going to the Commonwealth heads of government in Samoa later on in the year. We know that he had Canada on the cards as well as Australia. That's not been mentioned at all. But if he's getting back to work, doing visits, greeting people in the open air, this is a really, really positive sign.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, I don't really care about the royals either way, but I liked that the Queen would carry on. She was stoic, she was a constant figure. This is now showing Charles more in that kind of mould. He's got his treatment still to go, of course, but he's still going to just carry on and battle on. That's what I want to see my King doing.
Yeah, I like it. And I like the way that Daisy's commemorated it, wearing a necklace that looks like it was stolen in an empire 200 years ago.
I wanted to go out.
Someone's asking for it back, right?
Yeah.
Do you want a word about that necklace, please? So, nice little bit of synergy there, Daisy. Journalistically, very, very thorough stuff.
Thank you.
I love the picture, by the way, like you said, of Camilla and Charles. I think it's one of the loveliest pictures I've seen of them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty share the same view as JJ on this, but, we have a monarch, and I think he's a hard-working bloke, and I think he's very well-meaning. And, let's hope this is the beginning of a new journey.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Well, as much as we all like to think that we're the experts on this subject, we have a really true expert who's joining us on this show tonight. We're going to cross now to our royal editor, Sarah Hewson. Sarah, what do you make of this news?
Evening to you, Daisy, and evening to all the team there. This is really, really good news. It comes almost 12 weeks after we got the news of the King's cancer diagnosis following his treatment for an enlarged prostate. And during that time, he's been having to keep himself to himself largely, carrying on with some state duties behind the scenes. We did see him on Easter Sunday, but he hasn't been able to take part in those public-facing engagements. And that's all going to change now because his medical team are confident and sufficiently encouraged by the way in which he's responded to his cancer treatment so far to give him the green light to get out and about again. So next week, he and the Queen will be marking the moment by visiting a cancer treatment centre in London. And after that, we'll have a series of engagements announced leading up to that state visit, as you mentioned, at the end of June, late June, by the Emperor and Empress of Japan. So I think it's really encouraging today. We're told it's not going to be a full schedule of engagements, but there is a busy summer coming up, and they're putting plans in place so that the King can take part should his doctors say it's okay to do so.
And Sarah, do we have any further idea how far he is through his treatment. Some people are saying maybe this means he's finished his treatment. Maybe this means, you know, the cancer's in remission. We can't say that, though, can we?
What we do know is his treatment hasn't finished, Daisy. He is still undergoing treatment, and they can't tell us at this stage how long that treatment is going to last for. It is too early to say, according to Buckingham Palace. But clearly, it is encouraging and reassuring news that the doctors have said after almost 12 weeks of treatment that actually things are going well enough for him to get back out into public life. And there's a lot coming up in the royal calendar. June, as you know, Daisy, is one of the busiest months for the royal family. So they've got Royal Ascot, of course. There are the garden parties that start. There's also the commemorations for D-Day. There's the King's birthday parade. There's a lot in the diary. And the hope is that he'll be able to take part in those events. We're not going to know until closer to the time. But we understand also he is going to be allowed to meet people indoors as well. That's one of the things that's been very carefully managed so far. But he is going to be able to start taking part in those engagements in a much more full way. And that lovely photograph that's been released that you were just talking about, taken in the garden of Buckingham Palace on April the 10th, just after the King and Queen's 19th wedding anniversary, and taken to mark almost 1 year since the coronation, would you believe it? And taken, as they say, to say thank you to people for all their support through what they describe as a year of joy and challenges. And challenging it has been.
Hasn't it just? And Sarah, I want to ask you about Camilla, because looking at that picture of her, when you think 19 years ago when she married Charles, how unpopular she was, how the Queen didn't even go to the wedding, and fast forward to today and how she's really been carrying the royal family almost single-handedly over the last few months whilst we've had, you know, Kate and Charles fighting their cancer. That's an amazing story.
It really is. And I think Camilla has been the epitome of keep calm and carry on, hasn't she? While all of this has been unfolding, she has carried on with those public engagements with a smile on her face, reassuring the public. A few jokes about her husband not being the best of patients from time to time. But she has been holding the fort for the royal family. And what a remarkable transition that has been. You know, she never envisaged that she could even marry Charles, that she could become queen, of course, because at the time it was to be princess consort. She was persona non grata, to say the very least. And look where she is now. And I think really that very calm, pragmatic approach that she has, never complain, never explain, has held her in good stead here. And I think she'll be very pleased that next week she'll be taking part in engagements with the King by her side once again.